The 5 things we're talking about today: customer research and knowing your ideal current customer, solution partner research and knowing your ideal solution partner match, giving solution partners a way to get to know you on their own terms, set up your support for solution partners. We'll dive deep into that one. And then also tracking your solution partner engagement. We're going to go into how you can keep track of who you're talking to and how engaged they are with you and what that means for your business. Welcome back to Marketplace Growth by Acoil. I'm really excited because Kate's back and you're not just going to be staring at me this week. We are going to be talking about something near and dear to our hearts, and that is solution partner engagement. If you're a marketplace partner and you've ever asked the question, how do we get more solution partners to sell our product for us? This video is for you. With that, I'm Pete Preston.
Hi, and I'm Kate.
Welcome back, Kate.
Thank you. I love this topic. Let's get cracking.
So we've got 5 things to talk about today. We're going to go into the way that we handle this with Proforma, people that we're talking to in the marketplace right now about this, both marketplace partners and the solution partners themselves. This is not just us making this stuff up. This is based on experience and feedback that we've gotten directly from solution partners. And we really believe in this stuff as a really strong pillar of your business. The 5 things we're talking about today: customer research and knowing your ideal current customer, and we'll explain what that is; solution partner research and knowing your ideal solution partner match; giving solution partners a way to get to know you on their own terms, and that can be either through sort of self-service or else high touch. Also want to set up your support for solution partners. We'll dive deep into that one. And then also, and this is Kate's specialty here, tracking your solution partner engagement. We're going to go into how you can keep track of who you're talking to and how engaged they are with you and what that means for your business. One of the things that I keep going on and on about lately is this ideal current customer and really understanding who you're selling to and who you should be selling to right now. I think there's a distinction that I really like to make is that you have, let's say every marketplace partner wants to sell to enterprise. They want to sell big licenses, big seat counts, but maybe the product isn't there yet, or maybe you don't have everything in place to support enterprise just yet. And you need to know who that ideal current customer is, that customer that's going to take you from 0 to 1, or say 100,000 to $1 million in annual revenue. I'd like to get your input on that because I've talked about this a lot recently on the channel and in the newsletter. But starting customer research, how valuable is that, and why is that important for marketplace partners?
Oh, look, it's just so critical, but I think people fall into the trap thinking you have to be a formal market researcher or you need to do something very big and elaborate. That's not the case. My view is customer conversations anywhere where you can get them. You're at an event, chat to people, just really start to understand where are your points of value in your product, because once you understand that, you then start to understand all your use cases and your possible use cases, because they're critical for the next stage of your solution partner engagement.
Yeah. And so just a few things that we used to do was use support, right? If you had a support inquiry come in and you got a good sense of that you could engage with these people that are giving you these support tickets, that's a great place to engage with them, ask further questions about use cases, maybe hop on a quick phone call. That's as complicated as your customer research really needs to be. You can go down the whole formal and do a whole program behind it, but I'd say keep it light and breezy. As Kate said, wherever you can have those conversations, do it, and just be listening and paying attention. I think that's really where you can get a lot of value, is just intentional engagement with customers. You can learn exactly who you're selling to, where your best use cases are. As Kate said, that leads us into the second thing that we're talking about today, which is that solution partner research. And it's similar to that customer research, and it's understanding who are the solution partners that you can best support. And that's why knowing your customers and knowing those use cases are so important. We spent a lot of time at Proforma working on these use cases and trying to understand which solution partners we were a good fit for. Could you talk us through a bit of that background, Kate, just like how we ended up there and why it worked?
Well, the first thing is there's a lot of them, isn't there, everyone? And everybody wants to talk to them. So my rule of thumb was always very much walk in their shoes and understand what they need to do for business, because it's very easy to just want to just tell them all about your app and your business. user cases and stuff, et cetera, et cetera. So it's very easy to fall into that trap. So my suggestion to you all is is really walk in their shoes and say, what is important to them? How do I help them sell more? How do I help them satisfy their customers and their clients? And I would always ask, well, I would try to ask where I could, where were their business priorities for the next 12 to 18 months? So for example, if they were really, really going to ITSM and they were really spending a lot of time and effort and energy on that, then I would then say, well, I've actually got certain scenarios that I think we can help you get a deal over the line. And that's indeed what we actually did.
Ideally, what you come out of this process knowing is who is a good fit, but also who isn't a good fit. There will be a lot of solution partners that just aren't going to have an interest in your product. And that's fair enough if they don't work in a vertical or with certain teams that your products work with. That's why understanding customer and those use cases is super critical, because you can match that up with the solution partners. It narrows the list down.
Particularly as solution partners are specializing more and more.
Yeah.
And you just look on their website, you get a sense of where the action is for them and the types of customers and clients they have.
Once you have that figured out, the number 3 thing that we have to talk about today is giving solution partners a way to get to know you. One is a pre-recorded demo that's just for them, sort of a self-service solution partner play. Number 2 is make it easy to schedule a personal demo. And the third one is going to events and having a game plan for those events. And I know that was a big one for Proforma. What are your thoughts on having a pre-recorded demo for solution partners?
Well, my philosophy on this is, remember, they're on the clock. So usually they're on the clock. They have a certain amount of time, solution partners have a certain amount of time to do their work. They usually have a framework of the way they work. So you need to make it easy. So if yours a reasonably simple app for them to understand, then the pre-recorded demo is fantastic. So my philosophy is they can be self-service or they can speak with you if they need to. And I think another really big thing here is around trust, which we haven't talked about. But the reality is if they talk about your product, they're effectively recommending your product, which means you can't let them down. So things like people having a contact if something goes wrong is really, really critical. Yeah. But everything is around planning and it all just takes time. Map it all out and it takes time. And it takes time to build relationships with authentic interest, not fake. Don't be a snake oil salesman or woman. Person.
Snake oil person, salesperson. Yes. On that second point, to give personal demos, live demos, you've got a note here to say, make it interesting. And I know there's a reason why you added that.
Let's face it, everybody, they might have 100 app vendors wanting to show them something. And so short, sharp, pithy. If any of you have raised funding and you've got to do the 1 second, what is it? The elevator lift, Peter, whatever it is, elevator pitch, think that. And just keep turning up and keep knocking on doors. So if they show no interest the first time round, that's fine. Just come back the second time round.
The last thing, just giving the solution partners a way to know you, going to events with a game plan. Now, a lot of people, and I've spoken to, and I'm guilty of doing this too, buy a booth, I'll show up and think that's as much homework as I need to do. We'll buy a booth, we'll put some nice graphics on it, we'll have a nice big screen that I can demo our product on, people will come.
Show up, they will come.
And they will come, right? So the Field of Dreams game plan is not much of a game plan, unfortunately. No. So I'll just use team as an example, because I know some people are starting to plan for that already. And we're recording this in late November 2023. Team is, 4 or 5 months
April.
away now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know some teams are already preparing who's on the hit list, right? Like who do we need to make sure that we're getting in touch with?
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the recommendation here. Who do I need to talk to? So point number 2 in this video, who are those solution partners that are a good fit for us? Are they sponsoring? Are they going? Who do I know there? Am I lining up meetings while we're there already? And I would start today. Before anyone's even booked any flights, I'm hitting people up on LinkedIn, going through my contacts, seeing who I know, who's going, start gearing up to have those conversations in person, those events. Because I think it's safe to say those were sort of inflection points for Proforma when you were the one for us who was going and talking to solution partners. And those were the seeds of really important conversations, but also relationships for Think Tilt and Proforma.
Well, I think also remember that they will have customers who are needing help.
Yeah.
So we used to have solution partners drop by with their clients and we would talk about a problem or an issue. So I think that's another really nice thing to do is actually say, if you've got any clients who are thinking about it or they're having problems, come and talk to us and we'll help them and we'll work with them.
The fourth thing we have here is setting up support for solution partners. If you're using JSM there, just have one request type that's just for solution partners to reach out to you. What are your feelings on that?
Oh, absolutely. But the irony is because we loved our support so much for sales as a sales mechanism, most of them used to just come through the main channel because they did get the support that they needed. And they had after-hour contact numbers, which I can honestly say people respected, not just ringing it. Sometimes we got rung with a difficult problem on a weekend. And the solution partners were just so grateful that we did that because they had a difficult issue and they needed to work out a game plan to deal with their client. So, yes, I just think making it easy for the solution partner, full stop. Easy to get to know your product, easy to contact you, easy to understand it, easy to troubleshoot. They are your channel, people. They are your channel. You want them at least 60 to 70% of your revenue because, they know your product then and they resell. So just think of them as your priority channel.
We're going to move on to the last thing, tracking your solution partner engagement score. We had a CRM set up with this scoring. I shouldn't say we, that was really you, Kate. Could you walk us through, what's the short version of how you set this up and what you're tracking?
Sure. So I basically tried to keep it as simple. I monitored and I then monitored all the monthly sales and then I computed it all every quarter. And essentially what we did was in our CRM, we had because we had a broad solution partner base, I placed all of the solution partner details into the HubSpot, geographic area, if they had any specialties, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Plus then we recorded all the contacts. We then mapped who spoke to us and who didn't. And I had a scoring system on two metrics. One was around how well they knew our product and how often they were talking with us. And it was a 1 to 5, 0 to 5. And then I mapped the sales of cumulatively how many sales were we doing. So then I was able 0 to 5. So then I was able to map out every single solution partner every quarter. And we mapped it so we understood in terms of categories, countries, region. And so from that, we then could see whether we were getting movement with our sales. And then we could see who were our top performers and who were who were adopting us. And it gave us a sense really of how well we were growing into the solution partner community. It also helped us decide where we were going to focus priorities. So, for example, we believed that in Japan, the Japanese probably had a strong appetite for process and forms. And so we were working very hard and we could see the growth and we could see the opportunities. And because we were mapping it, we were then able to engage more focused and where we would spend our money and time and effort. So, for example, we would go and do show and tell visits, literally face-to-face in different countries.
One thing there is to keep it simple. Don't overdo it, right? And a lot of it wasn't a very scientific thing, right? We weren't basing this on any sort of automations or anything to say, if contacted less than 3 times, this and that sort of thing. It was very much, like on a scale of 0 to 5, how engaged are we? I mean, that was it. And it was manual entry, nothing more complicated than that. You can set this up fairly quickly and get going without overcomplicating it.
And I had my scoring system, and this is not, you're not going to die on the whatever the vine on that, whatever the saying is. I'm always mixing my metaphors, but you know what I mean. So the reality was I literally had the scoring system. Had they talked to us? Yes, no. How often had they talked to us? How deep were the conversations? Were we able to identify what the use cases? And literally, I did a 0, this profile, no contact. 1, we've done outbound, we've had some inbound. So I basically just framed it around outbound and inbound and sales. and sales.
This wasn't on the agenda for today, but if we were going back into the marketplace, where would you want to see direct sales versus solution partner sales as a percentage of total revenue
Oh, I'd still be up around the 70% if I could.
for solution partners?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
I would 60 to 70 because you don't have to re-educate. You've got the machine, just they're all doing. And you establish relationships, like I like to form relationships with people. I don't like to treat people like transactions. So this type of work is immensely rewarding because think of it as you are helping people build stronger businesses. And that's what I really like about this. People are people are people. And we can all build great businesses.
We talked about doing customer research, knowing your ideal current customer, doing your solution partner research. Who are those solution partners that you should be working with and should not be working with right now? Giving solution partners an easy way to get to know more about you and your products, whether that be self-serve, in your documentation, on support, setting up dedicated support channels, and then also how you're going to track that engagement score. Basically, how well are you doing with this partner outreach program that you're putting together? Using a tool like HubSpot, you can set that up pretty quickly. More than happy to talk you through that. If you want to hit us up on LinkedIn, we can share some thoughts around that. Otherwise, any closing thoughts on this, Kate?
You know me, always have a system and focus and put aside some times to do it because you get very demotivated and disillusioned because no one wants to talk to you. But don't let that stop you.
Howdy, thanks so much for watching that video. If you got value out of it, please hit that subscribe button. We launch one of these videos every single week. We really, really would love to hear from you. What else can we talk about that can help you as a marketplace partner? Hit subscribe, send us a note. We look forward to hearing from you. See ya.